Harav Ozeri Shlita.
Thank you, Rabbi Twersky. Kavod, Yosef Rosh ATIME, Rabbi Rosen Shlita, the entire staff at ATIME, Morai Verabotai. Good evening. Before I begin, I'd like to single out two people who most unlikely should be here this evening. Number one, there is a Mr. Gabe Kezri here in the audience. Gabe, where are you? I have no idea. Gabe Kezri is marrying off his first child tomorrow night. When they were deciding a date for the wedding, they would have preferred tonight, on a Sunday night. But when he realized that it was the same night as the Shas-aThon, no, I'm going to the Shas-aThon, the day before his daughter's wedding. The second person most unlikely to be here tonight is the Hatan himself, Mr. Yosef Starvash, a yeshiva bacher, who rather than, where is he? There they are. A yeshiva. Okay, take it easy, everybody. Sfaradim, they get very rowdy. Sit down. A yeshiva bacha who, rather than traveling from store to store on Coney Island Avenue in Brooklyn for his chasana, the day before his chasana, is here sitting down learning 10 dapim all day. Ashrav, Yiratzon, Shetisku, Livnot, Bayit, Ne'eman, B'Yisrael, Amen. And since there's going to be a hatan and a kala, the Gemara says, Igra de Hilula Mili. We have to make the hatan happy with some words. So let me tell the hatan a little story. There was a couple that got married. They lived on a 6th floor in an apartment building, and all they did was fight. Fight and fight and fight and fight. It's already a year after they're married, they're still fighting. One night they have this terrible fight, and the husband says, that's it. I can't take it anymore. I'm jumping. He goes to the 6th-story window, opens up the window, he's ready to jump. His wife says, no, wait, stop. She comes running out of the kitchen with a bag of garbage, says, since you're going down anyway, take this with you. Rabotai, another Mazal Tov is in order tonight. The Mazal Tov is to each and every one of you. Each and every one of you deserve a special Mazal Tov for being part of establishing a hazakah, a new hazakah. This is the 3rd Shas-aThon, 3rd time. 3 years, 3 times a hazakah. A hazakah that should never be broken. 2 years ago, I spoke here. And I said that I didn't think that this was ever done before. From Ma'amad Har Sinai till today, I thought it was never done. That's what I said. I was wrong. When we went home and everybody was talking about the Shas-aThon, some research was done. And we found out that it was done once before in our history. Where? Yeshivat Chachmei Lublin. The Lubliner of Rabbi Meir Shapiro, Zecher Tzadik V'Kadosh Livracha, the founder of the Daf Yomi. The Talmidim went to him one day and they asked him, Rebbe, what do you want for a birthday gift? We know your birthday is coming up. And he said, learn all of Shas in one day. And they did it. They learned all of Shas in one day. That was one time. This is 3 times. An established hazakah. But you know what's amazing about this Siyum Hashas? This Shas-aThon, Rabotai. You know what the amazing thing is? I was I stood up today for a moment to stretch a little towards the end of the first Seder with my Havruta, Rav Moshe Lanyado, Hashem Yishmereu. I said to him, Rav Moshe, look at this. Do you believe this? It's unbelievable. Looks like Panovich. Looks like Lakewood. I said, but you know what the amazing thing is? Everybody that's here paid to be here. They paid money to mamish wear themselves out to the bone. Is that not amazing, Rabotai? If you paid us to come, Memela, it's understandable. But we had to pay to come here. It's just the most unbelievable thing. Torah with Hesed. It is absolutely amazing. Chazak u'baruch and Mazel Tov to each and every one of you. We are all here today for ATIME, but in the most beautiful setting they could possibly be, celebrating Limud HaTorah. How important is Limud HaTorah? Let me share with you a Gemara in Megillah. The Gemara says, Yoshua bin Nun just fought a war. Vahi biyot Yoshua b'Yericho. He was in Yericho after the battle. It was nighttime on the battlefield. The war was over. And Yoshua bin Nun sees a man opposite him. The man tells him, I'm not a man. Ani sar tzeva Hashem. I am an angel of God. Emesh bitaltem talmid shel ben ha'arbaim ve'akshav bitaltem Talmud Torah. He says, you know why I'm here? I'll tell you why I'm here, Yoshua. Because you did 2 averot today. One avon, you are mivatel the korban ben ha'arbaim, the daily korban that is brought. And number 2, bitul Torah. How come you're not learning now? How come the soldiers are not learning now? Yoshua asks him a question. Amalo al eze mehen bata. Which one did you really come for? Did you come because of the korban ben ha'arbaim or because of bitul Torah? Amalo ata bati. I came for now that you're not learning Torah. The Gemara says, Miyad, vayalan Yoshua bayel lahu betoch ha'emek. Yoshua went to sleep in the depths of the valley. Melamed shelan be'omka shel halacha. We learned that he went to sleep in the depths of learning. Rabotai, Talmud Torah is greater than Korban ben ha'arbaim, the daily Korban Tamid. Let's talk about this war. They were at war. They fought a rough battle. The soldiers were exhausted. And yet, what? Ata bati, I came for now because of your bitul Torah. How powerful is Torah Sheba'al Peh? Let me share you a story that I heard from Rav Aaron Reich Shlita. An amazing story, Rabotai. The Gaon Mivilna, we all know, never left his room. Learned Yom Valayla. He had a blind Talmid, a Talmid who was blind. And it came time for this outstanding Talmid Acham, to get married. Nobody in Vilna wanted to marry a blind man. And the Vilna Gaon took it upon himself to find him a proper wife. A wife who would appreciate a blind man, an outstanding Talmid Acham, even though he's blind. And the Gaon got up from his Gemara, and he traveled from hamlet to hamlet, from village to village, looking for that shidduch, and he found her. And the Gaon took upon himself to take care of all the responsibilities for the wedding. And he raised money and he paid for everything. Came the wedding. The Gaon, right before the chuppah, takes the hand of this Hatan. He walks him over to the Kala, and he says, the Gemara says, Asur lekadesh isha ashir enna. It is asur to marry a woman until you see her. Now look at her. And he opened up his eyes and he saw for the first time. So you may say, we have a cure now for all blind people. Get them married, bring them to the chuppah, and let them say to them, look, don't try it, it won't work. How come by the Gaon it worked? Because the Gaon didn't look for a heter. Okay, you have a blind man, now he needs to get married. Let's find him somebody, we'll find a heter. No. The Gaon believed in his blood, in every fiber of his body, that Torah Sheba'al Peh is real. It's true. It can't be that you could get married without looking at your wife. And therefore, the man saw for the first time. Asur lekadesh isha tir'ena. Rabotai, it's because the Gaon believed. With every muscle in his body, with every fiber in his body, he believed that Torah Sheba'al Peh was so real. We just finished Shas. And in that Shas it says in the Mishnah, Lo yibatel adam mipirya v'rivya. One may not abstain from having children. If we believe it, if we believe in the Gemara, if we believe it in every fiber of our body and our bloodline, it will happen. Yes, with Hishtadlut, with ATIME, with money, it can happen. Every single man and woman in Klal Yisrael will have a baby. I want to tell you, this past summer in Deal, New Jersey, right here, not 5 minutes from here, Rabbi Waxman, Hashem Yishmereu, spent the Shabbat with us. And there was a fellow who had his fourth child. The oldest was under 3. He had twins and 2 more under 3. So I took him over to Rabbi Waxman. I said, Rabbi Waxman, give the man a bracha. He has 4 children under the age of 3. He started to laugh, chuckle, and he tells me, my Alta Babi, for you Syrians that don't know what it is, my great-grandmother, my Alta Babi had 12 sets of twins. I said, what? He said she had 12 sets of twins. In those days, you would have 1 or 2 die here or there because of by childbirth, but she gave birth to 12 sets of twins. If HaKadosh Baruch Hu could give one woman 12 sets of twins, he certainly could give every one of our people a baby, and we have to believe it in our blood, in every fiber in our body, and it will happen. The Gemara in Shabbat says that after 120 years, we're going to have a quiz, and we know all the questions, Rabotai. Himlachta haverecha, kavati l'Torah, Masa u'matan memunah, and they're going to ask us, Hit asakta b'pirya v'rivya. Did you engage in procreation? And the Maharsha says, it doesn't mean about every individual. It means, did you engage in helping others to procreate? Did you daven for them? Did you give to ATIME? Did you give of your time? Did you believe that it would happen? Yes, that's what it means. And we're going to have to answer after 120 years. What did you do for the other person to help him procreate? Rabotai, I'd like to conclude with addressing those couples who are struggling with infertility. And I'd like to say to them, no one can understand your daily struggles. The feeling of disappointment, the feeling of inferiority, the guilt of blaming yourself. Maybe I once said something to somebody, maybe I once hurt somebody. The financial burden, sometimes the feeling of just giving up. I'd like to tell you all a story. There was a man who davened 3 times a day in Shema Kolenu for a baby for 20 years. After 20 years of davening and it not happening, he decided, I'm done. I'm not davening anymore in Shema Kolenu for a baby. That's it. I've had it. I'm done. The next morning, he went to his Hashkama minyan, to his Netz minyan that he davens every day. Started Shmoneh Esrei, he started Amidah. And he got up to Shema Kolenu, and he was like on autopilot. He went, I got to pay for a baby. Then he caught himself right before Shema Kolenu. He says, no, I'm not doing it today. I'm done. No more. All of a sudden, before he said the words Shema Kolenu, he heard a baby crying in the shul. A baby by Hashkama minyan, by Netz, crying. And he heard that baby cry, and it broke his heart. And he poured his heart out in Shema Kolenu, and he said, Borei Olam, give me a baby like that, a crying baby. That year, he had a baby. Wait, not the end of the story. He went right away to be Mevara who that crying baby was. There was a man in shul who davens with him every day. who had a colicky baby. The baby used to cry for hours. He was colic. And the night before this davening, the baby was up all night and his wife was up all night. Finally, right before he went to shul, the baby fell asleep. And his wife went to sleep. Said, you know, my poor wife, I'm going to take the baby with me for a few hours. She could have a good rest. He never dreamed the baby was going to wake up before davening was over. He just fell asleep. And he had the carriage with him in shul, the stroller. The moment before this fellow was going to say Shema Kolenu, the second before, the baby started to cry. Rabotai, what is this about? You know what it's about? HaKadosh Baruch Hu is mitaveh for that man's tefillah. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, no, I'm not going to do without your tefillah. And I'll let the baby cry all night, and the wife should be up. So this baby should come to shul and cry right when you decide not to daven anymore. And he got another tefillah out of him. And he got a baby. Rabotai, all you couples, you wonderful couples out there that are struggling. You know what we learned from the story? That Hashem is mitaveh for another tefillah. The baby didn't sleep, so that man could pray another tefillah. Now listen carefully. All the avot and imahot had the same struggle. They all had the same problem you have. Abraham, Yitzhak, Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, Leah. They never gave up. And they were all zocher to Zerah Kodesh. We have a chiyuv to emulate our avot and our imahot. They never gave up. You should never give up. They rose to the occasion. You rise to the occasion. They succeeded. You will succeed. You were given the same nisayon as the avot and imahot. Never feel down. Hashem is mitaveh. Hashem was mitaveh for their tefillot, and Hashem is mitaveh for your tefillot. We at ATIME, we at Shas-aThon will struggle with you. We will daven with you. The power of a tzibur. I asked ATIME to tell me how many babies were born since the first Shas-aThon. They said, we'll tell you, but you can't tell it to the tzibur, because they'll never believe it. Rabbi, should I tell you anyway? The power of a tzibur, of limud hashas in one day, the number is not in the hundreds. The number is a few thousand babies were born the last few years. We should all be zocher to greet the Mashiach. Every parent, including every struggling parent with their own children, children who Mashiach will be proud of. Children who Mashiach will look and a big smile will come to his face and he says, oh, this is my children. We should come to that great day, Rabotai, through the zechut of this magnanimous event that took here today by establishing this great hazakah. Mazel tov to all of you. The first year of this Shas-athon, I got a little bit nuts on stage. I said, Rabotai, let's sing V'zakeni. And it happened to be that Yaakov Shweki was in the audience, and he came up, we all sang V'zakeni. Last year they did it again, and now we established another hazakah. We're going to sing V'zakeni. We're going to ask Mendy Werdiger to come up to sing V'zakeni.
V'zakeni legadel bonim uvnei vonim chachamim unevoinim.
Zako Baruch. I was asked to read the tefillah, and everybody should say it together, on page Yud Bet, page 12 of the Seder Syuim book that you have on your table, Rabotai. So let's begin. A tefillah for all mishtatfei Syuim. Ribono shel olam, תהיה השעה הזאת שעת רחמים, ועת רצון מלפניך, ויעלה לפניך זכות לימוד תורתך הקדושה, וקידוש שם שמיים ברבים, ותפילות ומעשים טובים של בניך ובנותיך, עמך בית ישראל, ותפקוד ברחמים לכל חסוכי בנים מבני עמך, בזרע אשר קיימה לעבודתך וליראתך, ועוברות של עמך בית ישראל תצילן, שלא תפלנה ולדותיהן, והיושבות על המשבר ברחמך רבים תצילן מכל רע, וילדו ברווח ולא בצער, ויזכו לראות בנים ובני בנים עוסקים בתורה וביראת שמיים. אבינו אב הרחמן, ראו תראה בעוני בניך ובנותיך כשנים ובמרת נפשם, וכאשר ענית לשרה, רבקה, רחל ולאה ולחנה בתפילתם, ותפתח את רחמם, כן תזכור היום את כל נצרכים, ותרחם ותפקוד ותפתח כל רחמי בנותיך הקדושים והטהורים, ונתת להם זרע אנשים, גפן פוריה, ויזכו כל עמך בית ישראל לגדל כל בנינו ובנותינו לתורתך ולמצוותיך לשמה, ותציל את ילדינו מחמדי עינינו מעין הרע ומדבל וממגפה ומשטן ומיצר הרע. ברוך תהיה מכל העמים, לא יהיה בך עקר ועקרה בממתך, המלאך הגולה אותי מכל רע, יברך את הנענים, ויקרא בהם שמי ושם אבותיי, אברהם ויצחק, ויתגו לרוב בקרב הארץ. אדוני אלוהי אבותיכם, יוסף עליכם ככם 1000 פעמים, ויברך אתכם כאשר דבר לכם, מושיבי עקרת הבית, אם הבנים שמחה, hallelujah. The next tefillah is a zechut for all the families of the Messiahim. Anna Hashem, רחום וחנון והבט בחסדך היום עלינו, וכאשר זכינו להתקבץ באהבה ואחווה, בהשלמת הש"ס, לזכות אחינו ואחיותינו הנצרכים לרחמי שמיים, כן ישכון בבית כל משפחה ומשפחה של קהלה קדושה עדן, אהבה ובריאות ושמחת התורה ושלום, בית בין כל בני ביתנו, תן חלקנו בתורתך וביראתך, ונזכה לראות בשוב השם ציון כאשר סוס תאסיס ותגל ההכרה בקיבוץ בניה לתוכה, בשמחה במהרה בימינו, אמן סלע. Rabbi, we are now going to do the Siyum. Before we begin the Syuim, I'd like to mention something which happened to me this morning. I was here at breakfast, enjoying my breakfast, and walks over to me an Adam Mechubad, an elderly man by the name of Rav Mendel Tessler. Is he here? With the Tessler family. Yes, they're here? Yes. Rav Mendel Tessler, Hashem Yishmero v'Chayehu, I was introduced to him, his son, and his grandson who was a Hatan. I believe 3 people being Mesayemim, 3 Dorot. There was not much conversation. He walked over to me and he gave me a big kiss. I never saw him before in my life. He never saw me. And then he rolled up his sleeve and he showed me his number. And now today, 3 Dorot sitting in one room being part of a Siyum Hashas. Mendel Tessler, you are the great revenge to Hitler, Yemach Shemo v'zichro, Shem Reshaim Yirkav. Yehi Ratzon, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu should grant you Arichut Yamim, B'tov u'b'ne'amim u'b'briyut shelema. Amen. We're going to read the Hadran. In the Hadran it says, Anu ratzim v'hem ratzim. We run and they run. Rabotai, how many marathons has the Umot HaOlam run in their lives, in history? They run in marathons. And we run in Shas-athons. We anu ratzim l'chayeh ha'olam haba. We run for a life of olam haba. V'hem ratzim lebe'er shachat. And they run lo alenu to a well of destruction. We're going to begin. I'd just like to tell you one more thing before we begin. A number of years ago, suddenly, we heard of the Petirah of Rav Nosson Tzvi Finkel, Zecher Tzadik V'Kadosh Livracha. A number of months later, there was a dinner, La'alui Nishmato, in the Brooklyn Marriott. Thousands of people came. And they showed a video of some excerpts of Rav Nosson Tzvi's life. And in that video, they announced that all Syuim in the yeshiva of 6,000, 7,000 Talmidim that take place in Rav Nosson Tzvi's house. Every Chabura that does a Siyum, every Shia that does a Siyum, anybody does a Siyum privately with his Chavrusa, all Siyumim take place in Rav Nosson Tzvi's house. And they showed on his dining room table a Siyum of Shas taking place, where a large Chabur in the yeshiva learned Shas. And after the Siyum, after the Hadran, Rav Nosson Tzvi spoke. And he said that those were the most beautiful words and the sweetest words he ever heard in his life. Hadran alach Shas Bavli, Hadran alach Shas Bavli. Those are the most beautiful words I will ever hear in my life. Rabotai, Rav Nosson Tzvi was racked in pain. Don't you think the sweetest, most beautiful words would be, they found the cure for Parkinson's? Don't you think the most beautiful words should have been, I'm not in pain? No. The most beautiful words, those are the most beautiful words I will ever hear in my life. Hadrach alan Shas Bavli. You are about to hear the most beautiful words you will ever hear in your lifetime. Please relish it. And before I begin, I would like to thank ATIME for giving me this kavod. Ani hakatan, I'm standing here making the Siyum. It is not my Siyum. It is your Siyum. I am only a shaliach. Now, usually I feel bad when I get up in front of an Ashkenazi crowd and I speak with a Sfaradi Havara. Tonight I don't feel so bad. We're 25%. Okay, Baruch Hashem. So please, bear mithli Marabotai, follow along and relish those words. Hadran alach mesechet nida v'talmud bavli. V'hadran alach da'atan alach mesechet nida v'talmud bavli. V'da'atach alan la nitnashe minach mesechet nida v'talmud bavli. V'la titnashe minan la be'alma haden v'la be'alma de'ater. Hadran alach mesechet nida v'talmud bavli. V'hadran alach da'atan alach mesechet nida v'talmud bavli. V'da'atach alan la nitnashe minach mesechet nida v'talmud bavli. V'la titnashe minan la be'alma haden v'la be'alma de'ater. Hadran alach mesechet nida v'talmud bavli v'hadran alan. Da'atan alach mesechet nida v'talmud bavli v'da'atach alan. La nitnashe minach mesechet nida v'talmud bavli. V'la nitnashe minan la be'alma haden v'la be'alma de'ater. יהי רצון מלפניך, אדוני, אלינו ולאבותינו, שתהא תורתך אומנותנו בעולם הזה, ותהא עמנו לעולם הבא. חנינה בר פפא, רמי בר פפא, נחמן בר פפא, אחי בר פפא, אבא מראה בר פפא, רפלם בר פפא, רכיש בר פפא, סולחה בר פפא, אדר בר פפא, דרו בר פפא. הערב נא, אדוני, אלינו דברי תורתך בפינו ובפיות עמך בית ישראל. ונהיה כולנו, אנחנו וצאצאינו וצאצאי צאצאינו וצאצאי עמך בית ישראל, כולנו יודעי שמך ולומדי תורתך לשמה. מאויבי תחכמני מצוותיך, כי לעולם היא לי. יהי ליבי תמים בחוקיך, למען לא אבוש. לעולם לא אשכח פקודיך, כי בם חייתני. ברוך אתה אדוני, למדני חוקיך. אמן, 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 סלע ועת. מודים אנחנו לפניך, אדוני אלינו ולאבותינו, ששמת חלקנו מיושבי בית המדרש, ולא שמת חלקנו מיושבי קרנות, שאנו משכינים והם משכימים. אנו משכימים לדברי תורה, והם משכימים לדברים בטלים. אנו עמלים והם עמלים. אנו עמלים ומקבלים שכר, והם עמלים ואינם מקבלים שכר. אנו רצים והם רצים. אנו רצים לחיי העולם הבא, והם רצים לבאר שחת, שנאמר, ואתה אלוהים תורידם לבאר שחת, אנשי דמים ומרמה, לא יחצו ימיהם, ואני אפתח בך. יהי רצון לפניך, אדוני אלוהי, כשם שעזרתני לסיים מסכת נידה ותלמוד בבלי, כן תעזרני להתחיל מסכתות וספרים אחרים, ולסיימם ללמוד וללמד, לשמול ולעשות, ולקיים את כל דברי תלמוד תורתך באהבה. זכות כל התנאים והאמונאים ותלמידי החכמים, יעמוד לי עוזרי, שלא תמוש התורה מפי ומפי זרעי וזרע זרעי עד עולם, ותתקיים בי בהתהלכך תנחה אותך, ושוכבך תשמור עליך, והקיצות ההיא תשיחך, כי בי ירבו ימיך ויוסיפו לך שנות חיים, אורך ימים ימינה, ושמאלה עושר וכבוד, אדוני עוזר עמו ייתן, אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום, יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, ועל מדי הוא עתיד לעתיד אחד ולחיה מטיה ולסקה יתהון לחיי עלמה, ולבני קרתה לירושלם, ולשכה החלד בגבה, ולמעקל פלחנה נכרעה מנערה, ולעטבה פלחנה די שמיה לאתרה, וימליך קודשה בריחו במלכותה, ויקרב ויצמא בו קנה ויקרב משיחה. וחי יכון יום יכון וחי לכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהא שמי רבה מברך לעולם לעמי עלמיה יברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומה ונשא ותדע ותעלה ותעלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לאלה מכל ברכתה שירתה תשבחתה ונחמתה תמינן בעלמא ואמרו אמן. על ישראל ועל רבנן ועל תלמידי הון ועל כל תלמידי הון דעסקים בראתה קדישתה די ועד רדם ודי בכל אתר ואתר יעלה נהון נכון נגנן וסתיו ורחמי מקודם מלא שמיה והרעב ואמרו אמן. יהא שלום רב עמית שמיה חיים ושבע ושועה ונחמה ושזבה ורפואה וגאולה סליחה וכפרה ונהיה והצלה לנו ולעמו ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במלומיו והוא ברחמיו יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ואמרו אמן. Hadran alach Talmud Bavli, the most beautiful words you'll ever hear. Good night.